We are live, baby. Yes. We are live. All right. Welcome to the Savvy Show. My name is David Wilson, the Business Savage, and it's an exciting day today. We are in the pre-show portion of our show so far. So the pre-show, about 15 minutes to live before we go live for the real portion of our show, which will be broadcast here, wherever you are watching, as well as the radio show portion on IBGR.Network. So awesome. So thank you for being here today. This is your shout out. First, let me give my destination shout outs. So we have a shout out to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. So if you're watching on one of those platforms, or I'll tell you, if you're not watching on one of those platforms and you're standing outside my window looking in, and that's probably not calling 911. Yeah, that may not even. Anyway. All right. So if you're a first-time viewer to the Savvy Show, welcome. Definitely welcome. You're in for a treat today as we move through season 7, the Black history of business, how Black entrepreneurs have changed the world. Today's focus is going to be on Black inventors and Black inventions. So it's a very, I'm excited about this particular topic because I'm going to be sharing with you some information that you may not know. Every product we talk about, if you will, that we talk about today, you'll know exactly what it is. You'll know what it is, but you may not know that a Black American invented it. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because knowledge is power. So if it's true, it's true. I think it's important to get that word out about and to celebrate. This is the which is the whole point of this season, to celebrate what these Black entrepreneurs have done. And, some of you may know, some of you may not. You may be surprised. You may not be surprised. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we're going to get to the truth. Before we do that, though, as we did with on a previous episode. So before I go any further, you can go to get the previous episodes, to listen to the previous episodes in season 7, you can go to www.thebusinesssavage.com. So www.business.savage.com. And you can subscribe to my podcast. So every radio show is turned into a podcast. Every radio show is turned into technically 4 podcasts. So you can go there, subscribe, and you'll get notified wherever you get your podcast. You'll get notified whenever a new one drops, and you can reference some of the things I talk about if you're just coming in today. So that said, if you are a returning listener to the Savvy Show, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It's amazing that we are into season 7. We've been doing this a while now, so it's been a lot of fun. So I thank you. What I was going to say, in week 1, 2, this is 6. I think it's week 3. So week 3, when we talked about Black Wall Street, the Black Wall Street Massacre, it was important then to really set the stage about what was going on back then. We need to do this, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to set the stage for what was really going on in the country at the time, and what obstacles were systematically put in place to hold these folks back. That's what happened. And we're gonna talk about those. We're gonna talk about all of that. We have 10 minutes to live. 10 minutes to live. I put in the chat a freebie, as I usually do, for the folks who join me on the pre-show. And it's a freebie I came across. It's pretty simple. Save money. You get cash back on gas when you spend money to fill your tank up. It's something called Get Upside. So what I put in the chat, it's also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So there's a link in the chat that you can click on. I think if you click on that link, you don't need that code that's in the post, and you can get the app for free. And then all you have to do, and now they're doing it for restaurants too. So you can actually save you can save money. You get money back when you go to your favorite restaurant. And again, as things are opening up, it's a good thing, right? So if you get 7% of $20, that adds up. It adds up. $1.40 here, $1.20 here. Next thing you know, you got a gift card that you can spend at your favorite store, your favorite restaurant, or whatever. Or you can give to your favorite radio host, business hours. You can send those right to me. It's true. I'm serious. So it's a great app. Also, I'm going to put in the chat our featured book for this episode, and it's called "Black People Invented Everything: The Deep History of Indigenous Creativity." So, if you'd like to get more information about Black inventions and those who invented different things, just click on that link, and it'll take you to a book that will give you more information. I think it's a great book. I recommend it. I didn't write it, but I definitely recommend it. All right, if you're new to the Savvy Show, we're not alone in the studio. So I do want to introduce my in-studio engineer who was on time, ready to go. It was amazing. So it was great. So I appreciate that. He goes by the name of Steve Namin Euphemi. Yes, Steve. And one of the things I promised to do during season 7 is I'm going to be a little nicer to Steve. I'm going to be a little nicer to Steve because Steve does a lot around. Well, he doesn't do a lot. He really does. But he does do things around here. Now, back in 2006, I remember he saved about 7 minutes to live. 7 minutes to live. But we try to have fun here as well. Again, go to www.thebusinesssavage.com. I'll put that in the chat. www.thebusiness savage savage.com. Did I spell that right? Now it's almost I gotta slide my contact all to the side and just make sure I can read stuff. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll put that in, and you can go there and you can subscribe to the podcast. And like I said, you can get all the back episodes. You can get caught up and get up to speed on what we've been talking about in season 7. So it's been a great season so far. Again, thank you for being with me. I believe I think it was week 4. I think was the Madam C.J. Walker episode. So that was a good one. We talked about her legacy and what she brought to her people, what she brought to her community, and how she she gave back, and what she had to endure. A lot of what falls deftly upon people is the backstory. And that's something that we cover here. We cover the backstory. It's not just, oh, Steve got a Rolex and a Cadillac and he's just doing great. It's not that. It's the backstory. How our feature, how our person we're discussing got to where they are. Now we're going to go into more detail on for some than we are for others, just because of time, just because of we only have each segment is about 13 minutes long, and we have limited time. By the time I get done, what did you say? No, because I heard you. You said because I said by the time I get done, and I heard you whisper something. See, I said I was going to be nice to you. No, you said something like spewing off at the mouth or something like that. Is what you said. I heard you. Okay, and this is live, so we'll deal with that later. Now, you all heard me say that I was going to be nice to Steve, and then he does something like this. So it's inexcusable, actually. Anyway, so let's talk about some of our sponsors. We are sponsored. I believe as entrepreneurs, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to make sure we are operating optimally at all times. And that's why I get my vitamins, my supplements, all of my savvy nutrition from the guys over at NutriChamps. So that's the block that's right here. That was pretty good. I did that right. So they sell just about any type of vitamin, supplement, mineral, cleanser that you could need to keep your body healthy and happy. So I send all of my folks over to NutriChamps to get all that stuff. Just go to nutrichamps.com. That's www.nutrichamps, nutrachamps.com. And you can use my code, TheSavage1, THESAVAGE, the number 1. Fill up your carriage, and when you check out, you'll get a discount on your order as well as some free stuff. And you can do that every month, and you too will be savvy with your nutrition. You see what I did? Savvy with your nutrition. And let me know, let them know I sent you, and let me know the types of results you're getting. Because part of my thing is the physical health of you, the business owner, the entrepreneur. So I definitely practice what I preach. And, if you ever have any questions, you can put them in the chat, what have you. All right. 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to live. 2.5 minutes to live. And make sure they're still on the air so I can hear. Yes, we are good. Okay. All right. So we are going to go to Avatar shortly. So when we go to Avatar here, while you guys are watching, now remember, we'll go to Avatar. We'll do some quick checks on our end, last minute checks, make sure my mic sounds nice. And then we're going to go into the intro of the actual show. We're still in the pre-show before the actual show, which drops at 3:00. Excuse me. And we'll go live everywhere. We're live here, but we'll be doing the radio show live from here. So you'll be watching me do the show as the show is being broadcast live on IBGR.Network. Now, about IBGR.Network, 1:30 to live. About IBGR.Network, we are broadcast in over 180 countries across the world, which is incredible. That's over 80% of the world. And there's on-air talent, different on-air talent like me, and talks about different topics, right? That's how it works. We are by by business owners, for business owners, by entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs. And we're here to help. We're here to help you with our expertise. We're here to help you with our advice. And that's how it works. All right, 1 minute to live. Also excited later on in the episode, we are going to go to the mailbag. We're gonna go to the mailbag, and we haven't done that in a while. Not because we don't get any mail, but because Steve hasn't given me anything to read. So today he has done that, and we will be ready to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-show is over. Let us prepare for the main show. 30 seconds to live. 30 seconds to live. Here we go. Here we go. Let's have a good one. Last check, Steve. Downtown Mike. Check, check. Okay. We are good here. I did not hear anyone say we weren't. So we are good. Let's go. 10 seconds to live. Let's have a good show. Forget about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Because today is Savvy Day. And we're going to change the world. You ready? Then say my name. Good. Let's go. All right, welcome to the Savvy Show. My name is David Wilson, the Business Savage, here on IBGR.Network, by entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs. I am excited about today's Season 7 show. We're in week 6 of Season 7, and we are going to be talking about Black inventions you never knew about. So the theme of our season is the Black history of business. And we're talking about Black inventions you never, ever knew about. So I'm excited about that. Keep in mind with every invention, not every invention is not patented, but the patent is going to be a very important part of this conversation. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me. Before we move forward, I need to introduce my in-studio engineer, Steve Namin Eufemi, SNY for short. Go by that sometime. If you are a first-time listener or a first-time viewer, because we are also broadcast on television on the internet, it's true. Welcome first-timers. We love first-timers. If you like the show, make sure you tell someone about it, share it, come back, so that I can thank you next week as being a returning listener. Thank you all. Again, like, share, subscribe, comment. You can subscribe to the podcast. So every one of these episodes is turned into a podcast, and you can go to www.thebusinesssavage.com. That's www.savage. I know. Yeah. .com, and you can subscribe to the podcast there, and you can listen to me, the Business Savage, whenever you want. All right, thank you. On a prior episode of the Savvy Show this season, we talked about something called the Black Wall Street Massacre. And the Black Wall Street Massacre, it was a very important, I'm not going to get into that It's a previous episode. So if you want to listen to that episode, you can just subscribe to the podcast at the site I just gave you. But what was important about introducing that topic was to make sure it was in context. We have a tendency sometimes to glaze over and discount the backstory. So we look at what we see now and we subtract time and we make a decision about what happened long enough ago that it shouldn't make a difference. That's what we do. So when talking about these we're going to talk about at least 3 different inventions that were different Black inventions that turned into products we all know. You all know these products, but you may not have known who invented them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's set the stage. Setting the stage in the 17th, 18th, beginning of the 17th, 18th, 19th century, here in this country, there was a mighty contribution for all to economic development of products, development of processes. And Black Americans, both enslaved and free, were solid contributors to that legacy. But there was a problem, and the problem was Black people couldn't hold patents. It was illegal, so it was not law. So therefore, I mean, you see the problem with that. So up until a period of time, we're going to talk about later on the very first Black American to be granted, to not to apply for one, but to be granted one after application. And prior to that, you had Black folks inventing stuff that was, and they were not given credit for it. I'll tell you 2 stories in this particular segment. And before I do that, I want to shout out to Chantavia Johnson. So Chantavia Johnson is Assistant Vice President for Academic Partnerships at Clemson University. So what I'm doing is I'm citing her work in this particular area. I think she explains it very succinctly, much better than I could rewrite it. The first story is about a brother named Ned, and Ned invented a cotton scraper. Okay. Now remember, we have to speak in terms of how things were. So Ned was an enslaved American of African descent. That's what Ned was. Oscar Stewart was I even hate saying this, but the so-called owner of Ned. And he stole Ned's idea. Period. He stole it. Don't believe me? This is how it happened. So much so that he applied for a patent. And lo and behold, surprisingly, it was denied. Why was it denied? Because he didn't do it. It wasn't his patent. He didn't invent it. Now, so the application was rejected. But he went on to actually state that, hey, didn't get a patent, couldn't get a patent, but he began selling the unit like it was his. And let me read to you the advertisement. He actually said in the ad, this is an quote. So the cotton scraper, the invention of a Negro slave, thus giving the lie to the abolition cry that slavery dwarfs the mind of the Negro. When did a free Negro ever invent anything? Now, what is that saying? What that's saying is, so his ad about the invention he stole is saying that, see, guys, this is why slavery is good, because a free quote unquote Negro never invented anything. Can you believe that? So that's what was going on. That's what was going on then. And it is very, very, that was going on at the time. So why is that important? Well, it's important because how many times did that happen? Right? How many times did I'm going to talk about this one too. How many times did a slave owner steal something that was not his? So we don't know the answer to that. This one just happens to be documented. There was another gentleman by the name of Benjamin Montgomery. So Benjamin Montgomery invented a propeller to power a steamboat in very shallow water. This is around 1850s. And he made his application, and it was rejected because he was technically still enslaved. His owners also tried to do the same thing, but they couldn't. The application was rejected. So what he did was he ended up pushing it himself without the patent. So this is a way to circumvent the laws that were prohibiting us from moving forward. He did very, very well with his invention, and he was able to, upon his death, he became very wealthy. And his son, he left to his son the ability to purchase 800 acres in Mississippi. And there's a town in Mississippi called Mound Bayou, Mississippi, that was founded by his son after Benjamin Montgomery died. So good into that story, right? But this is what was going on at the time. And it's very important to understand that. When we come back from the break, we are going to get into some of our inventions. And I'll give you a hint. You're hearing me because of something we may be speaking about later. So look forward to sharing that with you when we come back. Savage. All right. Good set there. All right, we got a lot of moving parts this show. So good. Let me know how you like that. If you're enjoying this, be right back. And actually, Okay, 1 minute to live. 1 minute to live. 1 minute to live. All right, there's going to be a lot of hints in this show. Okay, so you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. 1 minute to live. All right. Again, thank you for being with me. If you own a business that needs funding, you can go to one of our sponsors, Fund You Up. Fund You Up Business Funding will get you the funding you need in about 24 to 48 hours. Go to www.fundyouup.com. That's www. F as in Frank, U, N as in Nancy, D as in David, UUP as in Peter.com. And click the red button in the top right corner. It says Get Pre-Qualified Now. If you're on your mobile device, you can just click on the button in the middle of your screen and see how much you qualify for to help your business be better. We want to fund you up. Yes. All right. There you go. All right, welcome back to the Savvy Show. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage, here on IBGR.Network, by entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs, no matter what stage of business you are in, from pre-startup to startup, growth to hockey stick growth, slow and steady, nice and easy, to, okay, we're ready to sell it. And I am going to create a stuffed animal called My Ferret. No matter what you want to do when you retire, you can do it. If you're here at IBGR.Network, come grow with us. Hey, come grow with us. All right. Next segment of Black Inventions You Never Knew About on season 7 of The Savvy Show, the Black History of Business. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do this. Steve, my cards, please. Thank you. Oh, right here. Got it. Thank you. All right. Now, you got to pay attention because I'm giving you hints throughout the show of what some of these inventions are. I came out with a live today. I usually do a live somewhere at some point the day of the show, so every Wednesday. And I gave you a hint about what one of the inventions we were going to talk about is. So make sure you're looking out for my lives. You can follow me on Instagram to see that I do a lot of my lives there, as well as on the platforms here, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So in the live, I gave you some hints. My theme music sometimes will give hints if you're paying attention, if you know what you're hearing. If you don't know what you're hearing, you have no idea what I'm talking about, which is fine. That's okay. That's not a big deal. But for our first invention is and the card. So the picture of this inventor is actually on the show tile for today. Now, most people are not going to recognize, likely will not recognize him by face, but you may know the name. The name of this brother is James Maceo West. James Maceo West. And he is known for the invention of the microphone. Yes. Steve, what did I do with those notes, Steve? Yes, the microphone. So he was able to come up with this design and just completely innovated a product that was just, it was an innovation. I mean, that's what innovators do, right? Innovators make products better, and that's exactly what he did. So it's funny because he was always interested in um, in science and electronics and stuff like that. A lot of kids are like that. And he decided to go to school to study physics because of his interest. And what struck me was he ended up working after he graduated at a place called Bell Labs. So Bell Labs, I'm from Jersey. And it's relevant. It is relevant to the conversation because Bell Labs, now Nokia Bell Labs, is headquartered in New Jersey. I believe it's it's Morris Plains, I believe, and then there's a by the Navesink River, Red Bank, which is in the county that I grew up in. There's a branch there, a large presence there as well. And interestingly, I spent some time at Bell Labs in a summer program, and we were talking about HDTV before it became HDTV. Now, I mean, what? Oh, okay, yeah, that's real funny, Steve. So Steve said, yeah, long before it was HDTV, if you did it when you were a kid. Okay, that's fine. And it was pretty long ago. But it's funny what we were talking about then and what they were developing and back then. So Mr. West went to work at Bell Labs. And it was there where he started, dabbling in and working on listening to how these speakers sounded and microphones sounded and how they transmitted acoustically and all that stuff. And he ended up developing something called the foil electric microphone. And this was smaller and more powerful than what was out there, what was out at the time. Now, that's huge because what ended up happening was now he's changed the world because now that these microphones are smaller, they can be put into what? Phones. They can be put into what? Computers. They can be put into cell phones. And as the products develop and as technology gets better and better, microphones, right? As it gets better and better, it's more innovation. So when if you're a podcaster, if you're a radio show host, if you are thank you. If you talk on the phone, if you communicate with family, if you have a computer, if you've had a computer, you can thank James Maceo West for making that possible. You can thank him for making that possible. All right. So in the meantime, let us not forget. Let me give while we're in the middle here, we'll give a shout out to our sponsor, one of our sponsors, and that is NutriChamps. So at NutriChamps, we believe in our entrepreneurs being as strong as possible, being as physically strong, mentally strong as possible. So I work with the guys over at NutriChamps to get all my vitamins, my minerals, my supplements, my cleansers, what have you, to keep me going strong and going on and on and on. So you want your vitamins, you want your supplements, go to NutriChamps.com. That's www.nutrichamps, NutriChamps.com. You can use my code, TheSavage1, TheSavage, the number 1. And you too, well, fill up your carriage, and you're going to get a discount, and you're going to get some free stuff. And then you too, once it's shipped and you receive it and you start taking them, can be savagely nutritioned. That's a word. You can be savagely nutritioned, just like me, the business savage. Interestingly, in speaking about Madam C.J. Walker, so we'll throw. I want to give this to you as well. Madam C.J. Walker, and maybe my folks on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch can chime in on this. So interestingly, so we did a whole show on Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker could have been on this show. Now, so I am posing this question to the folks who are watching. So why would Madam C.J. Walker have been on this show? So we talked about her business acumen. We talked about how she started her cosmetic line, and yes, she invented these products. There was something else she invented though that was pretty important, that kind of parallels the products she developed. And if I don't see it come in very, very soon, I'm just going to tell you. But it was there we go. Somebody got it. All right. Very good. So shout out to Anoint Ashura. She invented the straightening comb. But you wouldn't know this unless you were shown. That's right. Trying to figure it out. Very good. And so that made sense for her to invent that, because she was perfecting her line of products, and this went right along with her product line. So shout out to Madam C.J. Walker. It's not that I left you out of this episode, but I mean, you had your own show pretty much, but all to yourself. So that is great. All right. Before we go off to break, I want to take some time. Oh, actually, no. You want to do the mailbag now? Okay, we'll do the mailbag. So somebody blow the whistle, like a mail whistle. Hoo hoo hoo. No, that's not a mail whistle. All right. Can you? All right. Thank you. All right. So here's the mailbag, and this is from. Is this right? Okay. This is spelled right. Okay. It says this note is from, is it Leslie? So Leslie from Bethlehem. Okay. I'm just reading what you wrote, Steve. I love your show. I was wondering, can you hear me all the way from Pennsylvania when I say your name at the beginning of the show? Well, Leslie, thank you for writing in. And based on what I've heard, I can definitely hear you. I can hear you, and probably everyone can hear you saying my name at the beginning of the show. When we come back, we will get right back into it. We will get back into it with Inventions. Whoa, Rakim. Oh, the R. Oh, the R. Wait. And it's funny because I'm in no danger there. I'm in no danger there with Rakim. All right. Stay focused. We have 2 minutes to live. Like I said, a lot of moving parts for this show. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all for your comments. We appreciate that. Give me one moment. All right. Awesome. 1 1 minute to live. 1 minute to live. Yes. All right, guys, having fun? Give me some fire or some claps or some emojis if you're having a good time. Because I'm having fun. This is good. Glad we got time to read the mail. You gotta pay attention. You really do. You gotta pay attention. It's all there. You just gotta pay attention. All right, I dropped the ball on that. So this is going to be a fun segment. There's a lot of research that goes into these shows, guys, in case you didn't know. All right, 15 seconds to live. Here we go. Five, 4, 3, 2.
Well, we're moving on now to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Everybody. All right, everybody, now we finally got a piece of the pie. All right, yes. Welcome back to the Savage Show. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage. That was all necessary. I told you, you have to pay attention when you listen to and watch the show because there's hints all over. There's hints all over. We are talking about Black inventions you may have never heard of. Hints all over. Pay attention. So, our next invention, that was a hint. So, theme song of the Jeffersons, moving on up. So, your first hint is that. Your second hint is, remember when I told you, a lot of this stuff is so typical. It's almost taken for granted that we have this stuff, right? So on any given week, you know, you might probably visit this place, possibly visit this place once, or twice. Once for, see, now I'm saying too much. Once to drop something off, once to pick something up. So there's another hint. So I'm waiting to see if anybody chimes in with it. Of course, if you downloaded the show notes, you have the answer right in front of you. But if you didn't, then you have to guess. And last hint, your drop off is dirty and your pickup is clean. Your drop off is dirty and your pickup is clean. Any takers? Any guesses? Nothing's coming in. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you it is dry cleaning. Yes, dry cleaning. So a Black man invented what we now know, so the precursor to what we now know as dry cleaning. Okay, and it was a brother named Thomas L Jennings. Now, it's important to know that. It's important to know that because, well, let me back up. So let me back up to George Jefferson. So it's funny because as you guys might know, George Jefferson is one of my heroes. So I grew up watching George Jefferson. George Jefferson is not real, right? So Sherman Hemsley, rest in peace, played George Jefferson on the Jeffersons. But I said in season 7, week 1, season 7, this season, about how much he meant to me as a kid growing up, because I was able to see a black man run a business at a very young age. So first year, the Jeffersons, gosh, oh my goodness, 79, I think. Yeah, 79 to 88, 9 years. So 79, I was what? No, that's not funny. That's not funny to me. Anyway, I was 4, going on 5, so I was 4.5, right? And so I was able to see that early on, and that's so vital as kids, to be able to, for the kids to see examples and to be shown examples of what is possible and where they can go in their lives, because for some it's very normal to see that, for others it's not. And I'm very thankful to say that for me it was pretty normal. It was pretty normal that I was able to see uh, black business owners, black entrepreneurs, doing their thing as I grew up. Thomas L. Jennings was a tailor from New York. Interestingly, another one of my mentors was a tailor from New Jersey, Mr. Mark Gray. So Mr. Mark Gray used to hang out. He was right beside Mr. Fashion in Asbury Park on Cookman Avenue. And I remember when I was able to buy my first suit from Mr. Fashion and take it next door to Mark Gray and have it tailored. That was to me, that was an important, that meant a lot to me, because that meant I had worked hard to buy that suit. But again, the takeaway from this is that it was not foreign to me to see other black men and women run businesses. So that was awesome. So let me tell you the story of Thomas L. Jennings, because there's something else important about him. Let's see if anybody knows. I mentioned it earlier in the show. That's why you got to pay attention. Thomas L. Jennings was in 1821 the first black American to apply for and be granted a patent for his invention. And the invention was something called dry scouring, which later became what we now know as Jefferson cleaners. That's what that is, right? And that's very, very, very important. So compare Thomas L. Jennings. Now, let me tell you what happened in his life. Okay. In 1821, he applied for and was granted his patent. Now, watch this. He became wealthy from that. Okay. And this process was amazing. It worked. He sold the process. He became wealthy. He used his influence and used his wealth to fight the enslavement of his people. That's what he did. So he became an activist. And when you have money, sometimes having money and having influence are just directly proportional. So, everybody that has influence doesn't have money, I suppose. Everybody that has money, though, probably has more influence than they think they have, right? But now what I want you to do is take the story of Thomas L. Jennings, and let's go back to our first segment and look at Ned. So Ned was the brother who had his invention stolen by his white owner. Thomas Jennings benefited from his invention. Ned did not. But watch this. Thomas Jennings' family benefited from Thomas Jennings' invention. Ned did not. Ned's did not. Thomas Jennings' grandchildren, the next generation, and do you see what I mean? And the benefits are not just financial. The benefits, financial, mental, right? Because this stuff sits in your DNA. This stuff, the things that happen to us, fortunately or unfortunately, affect us. And I'll bet you this, Thomas Jennings' story is way different. His narrative is way different from Ned's narrative. Thomas Jennings lives the American dream. Ned got screwed, which is what happened, right? Now, Thomas Jennings also recognized that the work was not done. So thankfully, he used his influence to continue to make a change. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this so that you can understand that this is how it was. The playing field was not equal then. The playing field, you can argue all day long. Because of this, the playing field is still not equal. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Now, full stop. Here's what I'm not saying. And see, we as business owners, we as entrepreneurs know this. That doesn't keep us from pushing. That doesn't keep us from moving forward. That doesn't keep us from going at it every day. It didn't keep Thomas Jennings from going at it. It probably didn't keep Ned from going at it. It's just that, but we must understand that. We must understand that that is the truth. That is the truth. Is it changing? Yes. But we'll save that debate for another day, perhaps somewhere else. So anyway, thank you to Thomas L. Jennings, sir, for being the second best option for ironing and starching a shirt, a dress shirt. The first option was my grandmother, Eileen Hodge, the first entrepreneur I ever knew before I even knew what an entrepreneur was. So she was the woman who taught me how to be the best ironer of shirts. And I can say that now because we don't have her with us anymore. So Granny, thank you for the title. I appreciate it. When we come back from the break, we're going to have a little bit of fun with an invention we all know. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. We are rolling. Love it. Okay. All right, guys, we're having fun here. Having a little bit of fun, changing a little bit of the world, getting under people's skin. That's what we do. I don't know. Maybe we're not. Maybe I'm telling people stuff that they already know. Maybe I'm not. It's very touchy when you start talking about that. Listen, my stance is very clear, and I this is how I came up. This is the narrative I give to my kids. It is what it is. We got to push forward no matter what. But don't sit here and tell me that this stuff that I'm talking about here didn't have an effect and doesn't have an effect today. We're seeing the effects of that today. So until we address that those things are true, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And that's just how it is. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Here we go. All right, 30 seconds to live. 30 seconds to live. I'll tell you this: you should believe what I'm saying, and then because that is really the only pathway to change. The only pathway to change is acknowledgement of the truth. All right. Let's finish strong. 10 seconds to live. 10 seconds to live. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being on with me. And we will see what we can do with this theme song. Steve, cue the music. Oh man. Me. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Savvy Show. I am David Wilson, the Business Savage. I tell you, Steve, man, you're on your way out, buddy. You are on your way out. All right, we are back on the Savvy Show, the Black History of Business, Season 7, and we're talking about Black inventions that you may have never heard of. All right. Do we want to do that now? Okay, where's my notes? So let me tell you how I was introduced to this invention. So I remember I've told similar stories about myself that I was told that I can't tell anymore so growing up in Neptune, New Jersey, we had a middle school, we had a junior high school and a high school, right? This is going to get to the invention, don't worry. We had a junior high school and a high school. Okay, junior high 7, 8, 9. Okay, high school 10, 11, 12. Got it? You following me? All right. So we were the first 9th grade class in Neptune High School history. Thank you. We were also the last 8th grade class in Neptune High School, which means we got gypped. We got gypped out of our prom. Okay, we did not have a junior high school prom, and then we did not have the benefit of being like the king of the junior high as 9th grade. We didn't get a chance to run the junior high. So we came in and we went from like the middle of the pack to the bottom of the barrel all over without experiencing. Okay. So that's not the story. As a 9th grader, I remember there was an incident one day where a whole bunch of kids got sent to detention, sent to the office, vice principal's office and there was a fight. And the fight was, this is not going to tarnish the legacy of this invention. I'm just letting you know, but this was my first introduction to this. Maybe someone out there knows what I'm talking about when I'm done. And it was just this fight, and it was a girls fighting. And if depending on where you went to high school, boys fight one way, girls fight in a completely different manner. It's not the same. They throw bikes and fire trucks at people, and it's arguably an unfair fight. But anyway, I later found out that, and there's this strong smell of Clorox in the hallway. It's like, what is going on? There were girls who got into a fight, and they ended up spraying other girls' clothes because they thought they were cute. The other girls' clothes with bleach, Clorox, that was put. And I was like, how do you even do that? Like, do you walk around with a measuring cup? Do you walk around with a... No, silly. No, you put the bleach in the super soaker. Holy cow. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that has had this experience? I can't be. So yes, the all familiar super soaker. That is the first time I had ever seen anything like this. It was the most amazing water gun I had ever laid eyes on. And in fact, was invented by a black man. Super soaker. And just kind of messing around, really. So this brother's name is Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson, Lonnie Johnson. And he did work with Air Force, NASA. So this was a brilliant, he's a brilliant guy. Okay. He holds today over 80 US patents. 80. And just fiddling around one day, said, you know what? I want to be rich. Let me invent the super soaker. Okay. So I'm sure. So as I got older, I began to see super soakers all over. Super soakers in your favorite summer barbecue, your favorite family reunion, your favorite, I don't know, spring break, freaknik, what have you. Super soakers all over. Because you're getting people wet, it's fun and whatnot. In fact, for nostalgia's sake, I have something for you. Stand by.
Red team meet blue team. They're on with the new Laramie Super Soaker XXP 275 and 175. Double barrel. 4 times the payload of your original Super Soaker. What do?
Attack?
Wrong answer. You run! Less pump to power than before. XXP power gauge shows how much power you're packing. 275's got adjustable numbers. 4 different settings. I'm stoked to my shoulders and I'm loving it. New Laramie Super Soaker XXP. It's so different. Well, it's better.
Yes. Wetter is better. Remember that? Who remembers that commercial? I sure do. So that was actually a commercial from 1997. And what? It's still not funny, Steve. So I know you're younger than me. That's fine. But that patent, Mr. Johnson got that patent in 1986. 1986. Now, amazingly, so as scientific as this guy was, as scientifically brilliant as this guy was, this was by far like his most profitable patent. So this joker sold over $1 billion of product, of super soaker product. That is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. All because he was just messing around and decided, you know what, let me take a look at this and worked on it, had some fun with it. And I guess maybe there's a lesson, there's a greater lesson there. Because he was able to, he took a step back from what was, his normal routine, his normal day to day, and said, "Let me have some fun." So maybe the takeaway for all of us as entrepreneurs, business owners, as innovators, when we take a step back and look at our work and try to have a little fun with it, who knows what happens? being from where I'm from, there was an electronics store called Crazy Eddie. So Crazy Eddie, these prices are so he gets up there on the commercial and he says VHS VCRs for $3.99, turntables for $600, and these are sale prices. These are sale prices. And he said, Crazy Eddie, these prices are insane. And this is just crazy guy that looked like he was having all this fun on the commercials. I actually met him in person once. After it was at a homecoming party, but I'm not going to get into that. No, not his homecoming party. That's a true story. It's a true story. It was his homecoming party. I'm serious. But my point is, he was clearly having fun with what he was doing. A little bit too much fun. That's why he had a homecoming party. But so as what we need to make sure we're having a good time doing what we're doing, because what that's going to do is that's going to translate to our prospects. It's going to translate to our customers. It is, absolutely. One of the things I wanted to share with you. So there's a great book. I recommend it. It's in the show notes. There's a link in the show notes to get this book. It's called Black People Invented Everything: The Deep History of Indigenous Creativity. So if you go to my homepage, if you're listening on the radio, go to my homepage at IBGR.Network /David-Wilson. If you go there and you pick up my show notes from today's show, there's links throughout. They're highlighted in yellow, and you just click on that and you can get more information about other Black inventions throughout history. If you're watching in most areas, so if you're watching in certain areas, you won't have the show notes. I believe Twitter does not have them, so you'll have to go to my homepage, my landing page rather, on IBGR.Network. And but if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, I think Twitchers are also going to have to do that. You're going to have to go directly to the homepage, landing page. But you guys have it in your show notes, and just click on the link, and you'll learn a lot more, because we can't possibly go into everything on this show because there's so much. There's so much. I am thankful that I was exposed as a kid, a young adult, to a lot of it, and I'm just here to share it with you. And if I have given someone, one person, a light that they didn't know they had, or hope that something that their idea can be, or their vision can come to fruition, and I think I've done my job. I'm thankful to be able to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about time for us to wrap up. I want to thank you for joining me, David Wilson, the Business Savage, on the Savvy Show here on IBGR.Network. Make sure you go to thebusinesssavage.com. That's thebusinesssavage.com to subscribe to the podcast, listen to past podcasts, and join us next week, same time. Have a marvelous day. All right, let that breathe. Yeah, all right. Welcome to the post show of the Savvy Show. I am David Wilson, Business Savage. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of the show. If you thought it was good. I have one dope No, Steve, not you. The dope was a comment. I would never call you that on the air. Like I would never call you that live. Come on, I'm decent. Oh man, that scrolled the whole time, huh? All right, no problem. Well, thank you guys. We'll be back here next week, same time, same place for the Savvy Show, season 7, The Black History of Business. We will get your topic release. The topic release party will be next week. It will be. And you'll be able to jump right in and join us again. Make sure you please subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button now and click on that bell so that you'll be reminded of when the next episode drops. If you're not on YouTube, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the All Things David Wilson YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebooks. It's not like Walmart's or Kroger's. It's just multiple Facebooks that I have. So follow me on Facebook, All Things David Wilson, and regular David Wilson. Boy. And also on LinkedIn at the David Wilson. So if you go to www.linkedin.com/in/THE David Wilson, and All Things David Wilson on YouTube. And on Twitter at DWill, DEEWIL. Yep, still got that when I set it up. And on Twitch, Go Savvy. So you can all those places is where I am. And yeah, that's it. All right, that is typically not a welcomed comment there, but I understand the context in which you made it. I'm not going to share it. But if I were to share it, it would be hilarious. Trust me. It would be hilarious. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. My name is David Wilson, the Business Savage. Thanks for joining. Thanks for riding here on the Savvy Show. We will see you next week, same time. Wednesday, same day. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. What is it now? Eastern. We'll just say Eastern time. I forget what they call it now that the clock has come back. And it's weird because the clock doesn't fall back everywhere. It's very confusing. It's probably something they should outlaw. But hey, it took them a long time to allow Black people to get patents. So who knows how long that's going to take, right? Okay, anyway. You guys, just saying. You guys have a marvelous day. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.